Today, I'm talking to the people this episode is actually designed for. Not the bottom 10% of agents or owners, not the dabblers. I'm talking to the entrepreneurs, the future owners, the people who want to build something that actually lasts. Because if you wanted to build a multi-million-dollar real estate practice in 2026, the whole model has changed. The old way, it's finished. Cold calling until your brain melts, templated scripts, spray and pray marketing, waiting for your prop tech CRM to update, that era is dead. Here's what replaces it. The front door to your business is no longer a receptionist. It's voice AI, mobile and landline. And for anything text-based, it's going to be conversational AI chatbots. We're talking instant, polite, capable, and this stuff's already available in market. Now, the flow looks like this: an AI triage. Then we go into an AI discovery using a real closer framework. Now, closer is clarify, label, overview, sell, explain, reinforce. So clarify why they got on, label the thing that they're trying to change in their life or get away from, possibly to move towards. The overview is what a good plan looks like that they can identify with. The sell is to sell the future state, sell the holiday, sell the outcome. The explain is to explain that it's normal to have concerns, and the R is to reinforce the next step that they can take. It's usually going to be a small step, but it just keeps them moving in the right direction. Now, after that discovery call, they could be going into their own personal advisory plan, which could be a paid service. It could be just to get on your buyer database and make sure they're getting matched to the right things, but they understand how it works. You could offer professional buyer advocacy, which I believe most forward-thinking practices are going to have in their business in Australasia in the next 5 years or so. It could be they could benefit from vendor advocacy, or they might just want to self-represent themselves on their journey with a good roadmap that your agency provides. This is when you get to predictable business, not chaos. Definitely not hope. Every person moves through 3 stages when they're a buyer, and just give them a label. Instead of just cold, warm, hot, you could say browsing, inspecting, offering. They kind of self-describe. Browsing is powered by content, AI, and your CRM. Inspecting is a mix of opens and privates, but they're all booked through conversational AI with full qualification before anyone sets a foot inside the property. Now remember, this is kinda on the customer. It's not just about making it easier for the agent. And the person showing the property is a specialist. Owner-occupiers, they can meet someone who understands the lifestyle, the schools, the community, even identify with the life stage someone's at. Investors, they meet someone who understands lending, leverage, yield, tax, risk. Value-add buyers are going to want to meet someone who understands block splits, granny flats, renovations, developments, planning controls. You're not selling doors anymore, you're selling outcomes. And we need to make the customer experience so smooth and seamless it feels just as good as catching an Uber or walking into a luxury 5-star hotel. The founder's real job in building the multi-million-dollar real estate practice of 2026 and beyond is communication. You create content, you create credibility, you create authority. You show how you do business and you show your values in action. Now, this attracts the right clients and the right team. And if someone doesn't align, that's okay. Don't worry about them. When you're really clear about who you are and the type of things that you do in your business, then you will be detached when people don't match with that. Think of it like you're offering a certain type of electric vehicle that's made for going off-road, and the person that's coming into your lot is only wanting cars that go on the road. That's okay. You can just refer them to who the specialist is. But when you're using the right type of conversational AI and qualification process, you can actually set up networks to refer these people, whether they're outside of your area or they're inside your area and specializing in something different. This is where the industry can start to collaborate and actually get closer to the customer by referring them to who they need. Doctors do it, lawyers do it. Why can't we do it? The minimum viable team in 2026 and beyond is going to start with the founder. Now, they could start with a VA or an admin person, absolutely, but that person's going to be a real multitasker, and they're probably going to be on the journey of learning what's next. I believe if you're going to start with one hire only, it would be a systems champion, not someone who's going to be making cold calls for you or door knocking for you. You've got other ways of doing that in 26 and beyond. A systems champion. There's someone who's going to help you document your IP and always be looking at better ways to optimize the customer experience and the value you create. Now, as far as people showing properties, you can have weekend specialists or inspection runners. They don't all have to be full-time employed, but they can be absolute specialists. You can insist on a certain amount of training. You can use AI simulators with real client avatars to make sure that they're not stuffing up on humans when they do come into contact with them. Sports teams train 5 days a week to play one game on the weekend. But in real estate, agents train for 1 day every 90 days. That's proper training. The rest of it's just turning up to meetings and scrolling on their phone. So we can avoid that, and we can make service and value creation measurable. Now, as far as how you deal with people outside your area, we need to have advocacy partners. If you're a buyer's advocate or even a vendor's advocate, which is usually a sell-side owner, now, instead of just hiring people willy-nilly to go and take on new territories that are kind of coming from somewhere else and they're using their playbook and they don't really care about yours and they just really care about their commission check, you can actually start bringing people into your world through partnerships. They don't actually have to be a business partner. It can be an alliance partner, like a corporate partnership. You'll have a service level agreement. You'll have all your compliance checked off, but there'll be people who specialize in areas or types of property or even types of clientele. So let's just say you're doing buyer's advocacy and you really know your turf. But when you get outside of a certain area or you're buying for someone in another capital city, yeah, you've got the research, but you don't know all the agents and all the legal professionals. You don't know all the streets back to back. So you get advocacy partners in there. Now, this happens in other parts of the world everywhere. When you can link it up by having deep qualification of people and clear understanding of what they're going for, you can have your AI reach out to your advocacy partners, let them know the brief, and they can get to work on it by just saying yes. Each capital city at a minimum is where I'd recommend that. Now, we need to have a tech backbone. Obviously, I've already been talking about that. I believe a custom CRM's where it's at. The PropTech CRMs are great for getting started, but I think it's going to be very hard for them to keep up with the speed of innovation required. I believe you keep your PropTech CRM if you've already got one. Now, for our tech backbone, of course, in 26 and beyond, technology's got to be right at the center of your business. And if you're not there already, just start learning about what you can do with it. You don't even need to know how to. The AI will show you that. And if you still find that confronting, well, second guess whether you're going to get into business, but don't not do it. Go and get yourself a systems champion that actually knows AI back to back. So what is our tech backbone going to look like? Well, it's a custom CRM in my opinion. The PropTech CRMs are great, but you've got to realize that they're made for everyone, which means that you're naturally going to be around the average if you're happy with what's going ahead with it. Someone that's really progressive and new age, they're always going to be waiting for the development roadmap of a PropTech CRM that's usually owned by a venture capital fund that works across the globe, and they're interested in different things and pushing ahead with your next idea. But what you can do now is you can connect almost any CRM. So if you are going to get a PropTech CRM, because it is already built out, and if you haven't built one before, it's a bit of work, is get one that's got very, very open APIs, and don't just take their word for it. Get someone who works with APIs every day to look at the API and say, can I work with this and do almost anything I want? But then what you're going to want to do is connect it to a white label style CRM, like a HubSpot or a Go High Level or one of the many others out there that are coming up, especially since AI revolution. And that's going to allow you to infinitely customize. It's going to allow you to follow the journey of any customer avatar you're dealing with. The lead scoring, the lead tracking, the ability to connect into any website or other platform, it's just second to none. Now, of course, you're going to have your AI reception. When I say AI reception, I mean hybrid AI. So what I'm talking about is AI receptionist picks it up, they announce it's on a recorded call because that's how AI works. But then at any time, they can switch to having a human if they're not happy. But I think we're going to start finding that if humans pick up the phone and it's not going where they want, they're going to start saying, put me onto the AI. I know that's already happening in other industries around other parts of the world. And if that scares you, you've just got to look up more stuff about what's already in play. It's not coming, it's already here. So AI reception, conversational AI on chatbots or any medium that people can type or voice note. The voice note will get transcribed. It will transcribe the language as well, so translation won't be a problem, and it all gets fed back to your CRM. We want a hybrid human and AI messaging setup. So once you've dealt with the AI receptionist, then you'll be usually put to an AI scheduler. Now, it doesn't have to be the same AI. The less things you're getting the AI to do, the better they're going to be at it. So think about it like subject matter expertise. The most important thing is they know when to hand off. And in the world that we're already in, there's roles of trainers, explainers, and sustainers for AI. That's a human job. Trainers is training the AI in the first place. Explainers is explaining how to use the AI to other people. And the sustainers are the ones there keeping an eye on it, that it's doing its job, that's staying within its guardrails, and it's safe. There's a great book on this called Humans Plus Machines if you want more detail on that. So with any messaging that's going on, with any communication that's going on, there's always a human nearby or that can be alerted when things get stuck. And it could be at any time of the day, and you can set your own parameters on that. Hey, if you're getting value from these conversations, the best way to support the show is to follow, subscribe, and leave a rating. It helps more people discover the podcast and allows me to keep making these episodes packed with value. Thanks so much in advance. Now, when you're inside the business, I would recommend using a system like Fishing Upstream because it balances out. Now, that is my system, but there's other systems that have smaller amounts of elements. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about using like a traffic light system for ranking things, green, amber, and red. You need measurable ways of knowing if that listing is saleable right now, or if there's work required like amber, or if red is going nowhere without substantial changes, or a crazy amount of buyer demand being built, which would usually come from a market shift or an overcooked marketing campaign to move a red listing. But either way, you're going to have a method of understanding where the work needs to go. Now, for buyers, you can use browsing, inspecting, offering, or cold, warm, hot. But you just need to know what that means. So for me, in our business, for example, in Presence Real Estate Group, where I've implemented Fishing Upstream, to be called a hot buyer or one that's offering, we need to validate with the buyer themselves that they actually have finance and that they can sign a contract within 1 day of seeing the property. Or if they don't have it, they're confident enough to do that with at least a cooling off period so they can get it sorted in that time. So it could be cash, it could be unconditional, it could be conditionally improved, pre-approved, or they might just be really confident based on some discussions they've had, or even they're getting such a long settlement, they don't need to be too panicked about it, such as off the plan or long settlement deals. Whatever it is, it's the buyer saying, I'm ready to sign. So therefore, open the door to let me into properties where the owners only want people that are ready to sign. And it's so easy with AI and good recorded transcript calls with humans involved as well, where this information comes out and you can set them on a pathway to help them get finance or get a second opinion, even if they already have it. Now, we don't need to have a massive team of people updating databases and doing data entry. This is literally all being done by the AI. Yes, you've got to configure it. Yes, you're going to have some humans around, but we need to start thinking about where is the value creation, not is where do we usually have heads or people bums on seats, because it's changed. It's already changed. I know it's going to take a while for most practices to change, and most people are going to hang on to what they've got for a long, long, long time. But I can absolutely say that there's going to be new businesses coming in that are going to be starting this way, and even bigger businesses that are going to carve off whole divisions to make sure it works this way. So you might as well get ahead of it. We need automated nurture that's relevant to where the buyers or any customer type is at. We need a small team with massive leverage. So every buyer enters the heat system where we're talking about cold, warm, and hot. Browsing, inspecting, offering. Hot means they're ready to sign within 1 day, and we've validated that with them to do with their confidence on finance, their mental readiness, and their awareness of what's out there for them. They're willing, they're able, and they're ready. Warm is inspecting and engaged, but they might still have something that needs to happen. There's probably like a catalytic event. It could be selling a property, it could be kid moving out, it could be getting their finance over the line. And the more meaningful part you can play in helping that happen, the better chance you've got of doing business with them over and over again, including selling their property later. Now, the cool buyers or cold buyers that are just browsing, that's totally fine. Now, they could ascend up at any time, and you'll make sure that on all of your collateral, they can basically just push a button to get to the next stage and get an outreach call, to book a discovery call, to start moving towards inspecting, to get assistance with finance, to build their power team out of pestins, building inspectors and solicitors and everything else that goes with it. This is clarity, this is speed, and this is control. The control's not just for agencies though. The control's for the owners and the buyers, the tenants and the landlords, the investors. It's control of their own journey and ability to ascend up at any time, just like you can with almost any other product or service. Now, you're going to pick a core zone that you want to dominate, whether it's the market you're already in or the market you're going to enter into. You'll build a partnering around it. So there's usually going to be an area that's like your stomping ground, but remember, we're not just representing owners in the way of the future. We're representing every customer type. Doesn't mean you have to do all of the business yourself, and of course, it's got to be compliant. We don't take a fee on both sides of selling and buying of the same transaction. But we can refer partners out, or we can actually act for one or the other, especially if they're not buying in the local area. You can act as their buyer advocate, and you can engage partners when you need to. So we pick a core zone that we dominate. We build a partner ring around the outside. And if something sits outside the radius, you already have the partner. You've done the service level agreements. It's not just about what you're going to get out of it and covering the legals. It's like, how much communication are we agreeing on? What CRM do you use? Let's sign some terms that the buyer is aware of or the vendor is aware of as well, that when you do get handed over, you'll both be providing updates to each other. They want this. It's like when you go to I've got a sports doctor, and he's an Olympic sports doctor. And I had a very detailed issue with my back that others hadn't been able to solve. I got referred by another sports doctor. Now I've got this doctor in Melbourne. He's amazing. He also refers me to other specialists all around, that every single time one of them sees me, it all goes back to that central point. And I've instructed that it goes to all of the antipodes as well. Because I don't want to walk in to an acupuncture specialist or a pain clinic or someone that's going to give me some sort of treatment and they don't know the brief. I'm going to spend my whole appointment explaining it and they're going to poke around and then I'm going to have to come back again. Think about seamless CX, customer experience. So you control the part of the relationship that you deal with the client and you share the fee with a partner that's outside. Very normal, very expected. Everyone wins. Same with buyer advocacy, same with vendor advocacy, same with most of the customer avatars that are in real estate. 2 to 4 advocates in each capital city would probably be fine to start with, especially if you're a smaller business. But over time, you're going to want someone in every sort of LGA or precinct. The goal is to stay closer to the customers you want to stay close to. Own the relationship. And then you use partners to execute that they're doing it in your style. Property management is a second business, not a side hustle. It's my belief that property management needs to become wealth creation, not just property management. We're not just clipping the ticket anymore. We're not just checking tenants online, collecting the rent, calling an owner when they need to do some maintenance. That's already changed. Why do people get investment properties in the first place? It's usually to help them build wealth and ultimately end up living a better life as a result of owning that piece of real estate. So we've got to be assessing the portfolio all the time. We've got to be looking for ways to leverage, ways to improve the value, improve the experience, improve the clarity, improve the decision making. Either way, property management / investment property management / wealth creation, it's not a side hustle anymore. Now, if you don't have the headcount or the experience in it, you can joint venture or partner with someone else that already has a property management business that's not going to compete with you in sales. They're not going to try and take the client over and send them somewhere else, and you've got a joint venture agreement for this. You refer it over, you could give them all of the income, you could give them most of the income, but you can keep hold of the asset value as it builds, or you could have a situation where you both have an involvement in the asset, you both have an involvement in the income. There's a lot of different ways to do that. But the main thing is you want to make sure that they play ball the way that you are setting your practice up. And there's not going to be as many as you think to start with, but over time, you're going to start finding that the bigger property management firms are going to have proper affiliate channels for this. The number one thing to watch out for, I suppose, is the guidelines around who gets to sell that asset when the time comes and what kind of agreement that the owner has with you when they go into one of those arrangements as well. You can build internal, but it needs proper infrastructure and tech is shifting fast. I've got an investment in a property management inspection company that operates mostly in the States called Happy Co. And I was really proud to hear recently that they focus on multifamily, which is over there. It's like build to rent. Very popular, held by a lot of large family offices, full buildings, all built for rental, usually owned by one conglomerate. Sometimes there's multiple owners in there, it just depends. But they're generally furnished apartments. Now, you think about the amount of inventory control you've got with furnished apartments. It's a lot, but that's how most rentals are done in America in these kind of apartment setups. Now, the software has gotten that good that they can now get to one property manager per 10,000 units. That's where this is heading. So it's got to be done right, but when it is done right, we could start having the property managers that used to be doing 90% admin and always behind on getting back to people and getting maintenance complaints and not having time to deep dive on things, to now being able to be like concierge team with subject matter expertise that can give genuine advice, and they're getting coached by their own internal knowledge base, usually built out by the founder or the head of property management or whoever might be the expert that's helping out with that. And I'm telling you these stats, not to scare you, but just to give you some confidence that this is already possible. So founders in particular, leaders in particular, people in management roles. But if you're an agent and you're short on time or a property manager short on time, you're going to need to start carving some time out each week. I recommend minimum 10 hours a week just to see what technology and AI can already do for us, or at least start learning about how to learn more. Even an hour a week is going to be better than doing none. No one's going to come and hand us this knowledge and just implant it in us like on the Matrix. We're actually going to have to do a little bit of learning for ourselves, but it does move quickly and you do pick it up quickly. Hey, if you're getting value from these conversations, the best way to support the show is to follow, subscribe, and leave a rating. It helps more people discover the podcast and allows me to keep making these episodes packed with value. Thanks so much in advance. Property management is a second business and it's not a side hustle. Now, you can JV, you can partner, or you can build internal, but it needs proper infrastructure. Tech is shifting that fast. I'm aware of software, I've actually invested in some of it in the States, that one property manager can manage 10,000 managements. That already exists. I'll do a separate episode just on that because it really is a deep dive worth having. Now, for your website, your CRM, and your AI engine, you need a WordPress website that you can fully control. Unlimited inputs, unlimited outputs, and no templates. You don't want to have to go through a website company that's hosting or build it for you to get changes made. It will go too slowly, cost you too much, and you'll end up avoiding things that you must do. Now, your CRM, it's going to be a Go High Level or a HubSpot or something like that. And if you've already got a PropTech CRM, or you really want to start with one because it is quite simple having all of those tools already there for you, sure, have one, but connect it to the white label CRM. Don't wait for it to evolve because their roadmap's going to be totally different than yours. Now, once you've got it going, you want to wire conversational AI across all of your inputs. If you want a PropTech CRM, connect it, but don't wait for it to evolve. You need your own roadmap because yours is going to be totally different than a CRM company with thousands of customers. Then you wire it to your conversational AI across all your socials, every input that comes on your site, every communication medium, basically. We're talking bookings 24/7, service 24/7, qualification 24/7. This is an always-on engine, multilingual, doesn't get upset, doesn't want to go on workers' comp because your performance managed it. And the humans that work for you and add value will absolutely love working with these agents. So the tech backbone, the custom dashboards, and the economics. This is not one CRM. This is a custom ecosystem. It's hybrid AI human reception. It's hybrid AI human scheduling. It's hybrid AI human messaging. Everything flows into fishing upstream or whatever operating system you're using. Even if you went and got scaling up and then applied a real estate working system to it, some kind of business operating system that the AI and the humans can understand, and it has repeatable training. It doesn't mean you take away the magic of the humans. You absolutely still have it there. That's what hybrid's all about. Everything flows into fishing upstream. Traffic lights, temperatures, buyer tanks, tenant tanks, vendor tanks, investor tanks, finance journeys and pathways. And here's the big shift. Your highest volume inquiries, buyers and tenants, they're also your highest value future clients. Inside every buyer and tenant also could be a homeowner, a future seller, a future landlord, a future buyer, a future investor. So instead of resisting that flow, you swim with it. Now, if you're going down the wealth creation path and you really want to make that a thing in your business, you might also have trades partners on the side that are doing building. You could have joint ventures in there. You could have people doing renos, pre-sale renos, value-add renos, block splits, granny flats, developments. There's already plenty of businesses doing this stuff, but if you can make it seamless, you'll be doing it for them and staying closer to that customer. Or prospecting for 8 years while you're waiting to see if someone's ready to sell again or ready to have their investment managed. You're staying in touch with them because they're coming back to you for almost anything property related. This is trust earned at scale. It's not just broadcasting until someone gives in. And economically, the metric that matters the most is gross margin dollars. So keep overhead as fixed as you can, which is possible with tech. Keep your people leveraged by having all the support around them so they can just do their magic, and tighten your cash conversion cycle. Get paid as much upfront as possible so you can fulfill the brief with quality experience. Make sure you got risk reversal guarantees in there though, so people don't feel like it's a huge risk to part with that amount of money. You can give better fulfillment, better customer experience, more marketing, and less risk for you and them really. Now, what we've got to be careful when you're doing all of this is that we don't build an agent-dependent business. That's not actually good for agents either, because it's giving them commissions and a job description that has levers that are outside of their control to improve. So when things aren't working, you're not making money, they're not making money, everyone's upset. Whereas we build the infrastructure here that allows people to thrive and perform. And if it doesn't work, it's like a sports team. They can go and play with someone else. Lone wolves destroy cultures and leave anyway. You want people who want to grow the pie with you. And legacy practices can transition to this too. You can free up your admin people through AI and you can retrain them into client-facing, fee-earning roles or customer service-oriented roles that are still going to add so much value that people can't not do business with you. You can run your business advancement, your big project priorities through Notion for flexibility or Asana for structure. But there's got to be somewhere else that your business priorities are being documented, and it's got to sink in with the rest of your business as well from a tech point of view. No more systems over there, paper plan in that drawer, whiteboard behind you. It's all connected. Even if there are physical artifacts like whiteboards and displays, there's still a digital version of it somewhere, and it all sinks in. So what's going to happen for the future of talent? And where's the talent base going to be? Well, I actually believe that a shift-based business makes total sense. Here's something every future-focused founder needs to hear. Not all the talent joining a modern real estate business is going to come from real estate. In fact, a lot of them won't. The industry is definitely shaking up. Not everyone wants to relearn the old system, and there's a lot of high-caliber people that are looking to pivot. You'll see agents coming from mortgage broking, wealth creation, legal, construction, property development, finance, tech, customer experience, and other industries that already do work in advisory. And here's the thing. With a hybrid human operation, you can run a proper shift-based business that extends well beyond the 9 to 5. Early mornings for people on shift work or to get stuff done before they go to work. Evenings, weekend blocks, AI running 24/7. You'll create availability that matches how people actually live. I remember last time I was in Paris in the Marais. There was a beautiful post office open till about 11 p.m. and it was packed like every night. We were just across from it. Because real life doesn't run on banker's hours. People work, they commute, they have families, they have commitments. If you can offer appointments when people actually want them and do a half good job, you'll win. This is the modern service business. Human availability where it counts, AI availability everywhere else. And a talent base drawn from multiple professions because they actually bring the full skill sets that matter. Section 9, the learning stack. To run this model, you need the right frameworks. So I'm just going to rattle off some of the bits of literature or models you can run. And even if you don't like these ones, swap it out for something at least of the equivalent. Negotiation Made Simple by John Lowry. Never Lose a Customer Again, Joey Coleman. Lean Marketing, Alan Dibb. Systemology and Systems Champion, David Jennings. Scaling Up, Vern Harnish, or Traction by Gino Wickman. Fishing Upstream, The Ultimate Real Estate System by MK. Friendly Auctions by MK. And eventually, $100 million money models by Hormozi. Now, this isn't employment. This is craftsmanship. This is an advisory. This is a practice. So we do need to have this knowledge surrounding it. And there will be more, but that's just an example. So in closing, this is how I'd build a multi-million-dollar real estate practice in 2026 if I was starting again tomorrow. And honestly, it doesn't just stop at million or multi-million. The next jump is 5 million, then 10, and the same foundations will take you all the way to 100. Now, if you've already got a practice, start just hybriding parts of it towards this. I get it, it's tough. I've got a business that's been established for over 20 years with a lot of great talent in it. And we're building this as we go, elements of this. It'd be easier if you were starting from scratch, but I'm not, and most of you aren't either. So just start taking elements of this, because rest assured, this is all coming, if not already here. The founder's job is simple. Attract great clients, sign great clients. Fulfill with excellence, then turn them into advocates. Once you've got your flow on, then you build a team that scales the impact. It's going to grow the pie with you. That's the model, that's the future, and that's how you build something worth owning. 2026 and beyond.